The achievements and exploration of science are always at their peak. Scientists understand the logic of everything, from conquering space to curing almost any patient. But in history, there were some people who made their names as circus freaks, with the strangest appearances and the most dangerous conditions that even left scientists stunned. How they lived, how they performed, and how they were remembered or forgotten in history is all revealed in this video. So don't blink and get ready to dive into the shocking world of the 15 creepiest circus freaks ever. Number 15. Alice Elizabeth Doherty. Alice Elizabeth Doherty, born on March 14, 1887 in Minneapolis, was known for a rare condition called hypertrichosis lanuginosa, which caused dense, fine hair to cover nearly her entire body. By the age of 2, she had already begun appearing in sideshow exhibitions across the Midwest, drawing attention for the unusual growth and distribution of her hair. During her early years, the hair on her face and body reached several inches in length, and it continued to thicken and darken as she entered adolescence. Performances often involved displaying her hair openly, and audiences observed her ability to groom, braid, and manage the hair in various ways that emphasized the extent of her condition. By the mid-1910s, appearances in public exhibitions had become less frequent, though she remained a noted figure in sideshow circles. Doherty's life concluded on June 13, 1933, in Dallas, where she succumbed to bronchial pneumonia at the age of 46. Her case contributed to medical documentation of hypertrichosis and offered detailed observational insights into the condition over a lifetime. Number 14. The Great Omi. Extensive tattooing transformed the body of a British performer into a striking visual spectacle in the early 20th century. Born on March 9, 1892 in Brighton, Riddler underwent years of black and white striped body art that eventually earned him the nickname the Great Omi, or Zebra Man. Piercings and other body modifications complemented the tattoos, enhancing the illusion of a patterned, almost surreal appearance. He appeared on the sideshow circuit across Europe and North America from the 1920s onward, performing in circuses, fairs, and exhibition halls where audiences observed his fully altered body. His condition and transformation attracted the attention of dermatologists and anthropologists, who studied both the effects of extensive tattooing and the societal fascination with extreme body modifications. By the time of his death on January 7, 1969, in West Sussex, England, Riddler had become a documented example of deliberate body alteration in performance art. His life provides detailed insight into the integration of tattooing, exhibition, and cultural curiosity during the period. Number 13. Pascal Pinon. A large benign tumor on the skull created the illusion of a second head for a Mexican performer in the early 1900s. Pascal Pinon, born in 1889, was exhibited as the Two-Headed Mexican across sideshows in the United States, with promoters often placing a mask or fabricated face over the growth to enhance the effect. Audiences were drawn to the visual curiosity of what appeared to be two heads sharing a single body, and Pinon's performances included walking, dancing, and interacting while maintaining the illusion. Medical observers recorded the tumor and its unusual placement, noting the benign nature of the growth and its effect on balance and posture. Tours spanned several states, and Pinon's case became referenced in studies of cranial anomalies and public reactions to unusual physical conditions. By the mid-1910s, appearances declined, and records of later life are sparse, though his exhibitions contributed to the documentation of congenital and acquired cranial conditions within performance settings. The combination of physical anomaly and public spectacle offers insight into sideshow culture and early 20th century medical interest. Let's move forward into the world of someone truly unforgettable. Number 12. Josephine Myrtle Corbin. Born with 2 pelvises and 4 legs, a performer from Texas attracted widespread attention in the late 1800s. Josephine Myrtle Corbin, born on May 12, 1868, exhibited dipygus, a rare congenital condition in which the lower body partially duplicates. She appeared in traveling exhibitions across the United States, performing daily routines, walking, and demonstrating the use of all four legs in ways that highlighted the anatomical peculiarity. Observers, including medical professionals, documented her physical structure, noting the symmetry and functionality of the additional limbs. She married and had children, which provided further data on reproductive capability in individuals with dipygus. Corbin's condition offered insight into developmental anomalies and generated detailed anatomical studies, some of which appeared in medical journals of the time. Public fascination combined with scientific observation ensured that her exhibitions contributed to both entertainment and empirical documentation. Corbin lived until July 16, 1928, providing decades of observation into the long-term effects and mobility associated with this rare skeletal variation. Number 11. Olga Roderick. Extreme flexibility and contortion drew attention long before modern acrobatics evolved. Born in 1895, Roderick performed in sideshows where her body could bend and twist into shapes that seemed impossible for a human frame. She displayed her abilities in traveling exhibitions across the United States, often combining her contortions with balancing acts and precise physical control. Observers noted the muscular development and joint mobility that allowed her to execute feats without apparent injury. Her performances provided rare observational insight into hypermobility and musculoskeletal adaptability, areas that later informed studies in anatomy and physical training. Unlike many contemporaries, Roderick's act focused entirely on movement rather than a visible anomaly, making her a unique case among early 20th century performers. Records indicate she continued performing into the 1930s, though exact details of later life remain sparse. Her work demonstrates the limits of human joint flexibility and the application of physical skill in performance settings, offering detailed examples for both entertainment historians and medical researchers alike. Number 10. James Morris. Audiences often watched in disbelief as one man twisted and folded his body into seemingly impossible positions. Born in 1884, Morris toured across the United States performing contortion acts that highlighted extraordinary joint and skin elasticity. He could stretch, bend, and compress his limbs in ways that appeared to defy human limits, capturing attention in circuses and sideshows. Medical observers later noted characteristics consistent with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a connective tissue disorder responsible for his hyperelasticity. Unlike performers who relied on visible physical anomalies, Morris demonstrated internal flexibility, showing how the human body could adapt to extreme contortions over time. His career spanned several decades, providing repeated opportunities for observation and documentation. Performances were often precise and controlled, emphasizing skill as much as unusual physiology. The detailed accounts of his abilities contributed to medical literature and sideshow history, offering examples of how hypermobility manifests in performance contexts without visible deformity. Ready for more? The next tale is even more shocking than the last. Number 9. Carl Unthan. Audiences were captivated by a musician who could play intricate pieces without using his hands. Carl Unthan lost both arms early in life but developed extraordinary dexterity with his feet, allowing him to handle violins, pianos, and other instruments with precision. He toured extensively across Europe and North America, performing in circuses and concert halls where spectators marveled at his ability to write, paint, and manipulate objects solely with his toes. Observers noted the combination of neural adaptation and muscular control that enabled such feats, providing valuable insights into compensatory motor skills. Unthan's performances often included feats like card signing and complex musical arrangements, demonstrating remarkable coordination and balance. His career extended into the 1920s, and contemporary reports recorded his techniques in detail, emphasizing skill rather than deformity. The documentation of his abilities contributed to studies of human motor function, showing how physical limitations can lead to extraordinary adaptation and control in a performance environment. Number 8. Grace McDaniels. Facial features drew attention for their unusual growth patterns, capturing the curiosity of sideshow audiences in the 1930s. Grace McDaniels had a large tumor-like formation covering parts of her face, caused by neurofibromatosis, which created a distinct and prominent appearance. She performed in traveling exhibitions across the United States, where spectators observed her interactions and daily routines alongside the visible anomaly. Medical observers documented the structure and extent of the growth, noting its impact on facial symmetry and movement. Her acts did not involve extraordinary physical feats, but centered on the exhibition of the condition itself, providing direct observational data for physicians and researchers of the time. Performances were carefully staged to allow audiences to view the anomaly in different lighting and angles. Records indicate that McDaniels continued performing into the 1950s, and her case contributed to medical understanding of tumor growths related to neurofibromatosis while illustrating the presentation of such conditions in a public context. Number 7. Emmett Bejano. Skin exhibited unusual texture that resembled reptilian patterns, creating striking visual effect for audiences. Emmett Bejano, active in early 20th century sideshows, displayed what was often described as alligator-like skin, a condition that drew crowds across traveling exhibitions. Spectators observed close-up the unusual roughness and patterned appearance, which became the centerpiece of his performances. Medical observers studied the epidermal characteristics, noting irregularities in keratinization and skin structure that contributed to the textured surface. Bejano's act involved minimal physical feats, but focused on presenting the visible anomaly in different lighting and angles for maximum impact. Tours took him through numerous states, allowing both public viewing and documentation by researchers interested in dermatological oddities. Records indicate he performed primarily during the 1910s, though details about his later years remain limited. Observations of his skin condition contributed to early documentation of ichthyosis-like patterns and highlighted the ways physical anomalies were framed for public exhibition in sideshow culture. And now, brace yourself for a performer who redefines the word extraordinary. Number 6. Bill Durks. Facial features drew immediate attention due to pronounced asymmetry, creating a striking visual effect for audiences. Bill Durks performed in sideshows where the unusual structure of his face was the central focus, with promoters emphasizing the contrasting features to attract spectators. Observers noted the pronounced differences in the left and right sides of his face, documenting variations in bone structure, musculature, and skin placement. Tours took him across multiple exhibition halls in the early 20th century, where audiences could view the anomaly under different lighting and angles. Durks's performances involved minimal physical activity, but were carefully staged to highlight the visual peculiarity. Medical observers studied the condition as part of craniofacial variation, recording measurements and effects on facial function. Records indicate he remained active in exhibitions for several years, providing repeated opportunities for observation. His case contributed to early documentation of craniofacial anomalies in public settings, illustrating how physical irregularities were presented for both audience curiosity and medical attention. Number 5. Nebojsa Netwalt. Performances in the early 20th century included unusual body proportions that drew crowds to sideshow exhibitions. Nebojsa Netwalt was presented as a human oddity, with promotional materials emphasizing the unique alignment and flexibility of his limbs. He toured across the United States, participating in traveling shows where spectators could observe his movements and posture up close. Medical observers recorded details about his skeletal and muscular characteristics. noting how these contributed to both balance and the visual impact of his presentation. Unlike performers who relied on a single anomaly, Netwalt's exhibition highlighted multiple subtle variations in the body, offering a more complex example of human difference. His performances continued intermittently over several years, allowing repeated observation by researchers and sideshow managers alike. The documentation from these exhibitions added to early studies of musculoskeletal variation and illustrated how multiple physical differences could be combined in performance settings for public display and analysis. Number 4. Ronnie Galian. Conjoined twins attracted widespread attention in traveling exhibitions during the mid-20th century. Ronnie Galian was one half of a pair of conjoined twins, sharing portions of the lower torso, which made mobility and daily tasks unique compared to single-bodied individuals. Performances involved walking, sitting, and interacting together on stage, with spectators observing coordination and balance between the two bodies. Medical documentation recorded details about shared organs, skeletal connections, and muscular function, providing insight into conjoined physiology. Tours across fairs and sideshows offered repeated opportunities to study adaptation, movement, and health management in conjoined individuals. Unlike acts focused purely on visual anomalies, Galian's presentations emphasized coordination and practical use of shared anatomy. He continued performing intermittently into the 1970s, offering decades of observation. Case studies arising from these exhibitions contributed to medical understanding of conjoined twin development, surgical possibilities, and the challenges of mobility, while also illustrating how such conditions were presented in public performance settings for educational and entertainment purposes. And just when you think it can't get stranger, the next one will leave you stunned. Number 3. Melvin Burkhart. A performer became famous for inserting objects into his body in ways that amazed audiences. Melvin Burkhart specialized in human blockhead acts, driving nails, spikes, and other objects into his nasal cavity and skull openings during live exhibitions. He toured across the United States in the mid-20th century, performing in circuses and sideshows where spectators witnessed precise and controlled demonstrations of his unusual skill. Observers, including medical professionals, examined the techniques and anatomical adaptations that made such acts possible, noting alignment, depth control, and tissue resilience. Burkhart's performances required careful training and an understanding of human anatomy to avoid injury while maximizing visual impact. Unlike performers who relied on visible anomalies, his act focused on skillful manipulation of the body's natural openings. Records indicate he maintained this specialty for decades, offering repeated opportunities for observation and documentation. Case studies and contemporaneous reports contributed to both sideshow history and anatomical understanding of how controlled manipulation could produce seemingly impossible feats without permanent damage. Number 2. Jonathan R. Bass. A rare skeletal condition made mobility extremely limited, drawing attention in 19th century exhibitions. Jonathan R. Bass suffered from extensive ossification that gradually stiffened his joints and spine, restricting movement but leaving him capable of standing and walking with support. He toured locally in sideshows where spectators observed the rigidity and unusual posture caused by the condition. Physicians and anatomists recorded measurements of his bones, joints, and overall skeletal structure to understand how ossification affected mobility and daily function. Unlike performers who relied on visual spectacle or contortion, Bass's exhibition focused on documenting extreme physiological changes over time. Reports from the era detail his ability to navigate small movements despite the progressive hardening of his body. Observations contributed to early studies of pathological ossification and skeletal disorders, providing a reference point for both medical research and historical accounts of sideshow exhibitions. His life illustrated the intersection of physical anomaly and structured public performance without embellishment or added theatrics. Number 1. John Thomas. Extraordinarily thin physique made one performer a striking figure in early 20th century exhibitions. John Thomas, known as the human skeleton, toured circuses and sideshows, displaying his lean frame that appeared almost skeletal, emphasizing muscle and bone prominence. Visitors observed the extremity of his thinness during walking, sitting, and simple stage routines, which highlighted differences in body composition without any additional acts or contortions. Medical commentators documented his height-to-weight ratio, musculature, and overall health, noting how long-term nutrition and genetics contributed to his appearance. Unlike performers with tumors or unusual growths, Thomas's act relied solely on his physical frame as a natural spectacle. Exhibitions spanned multiple cities, providing repeated observation opportunities. Reports from the era describe both the audience's fascination and anatomical interest generated by his presentation. Step into a world where the extraordinary collides with the unimaginable, and explore stories that stretch the limits of human curiosity. Discover fascinating lives, shocking feats, and moments that spark wonder and reflection, all while diving deep into history's most captivating tales. If this journey thrills your imagination, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to support more incredible explorations and keep the adventure alive. Your engagement fuels these discoveries and helps spread knowledge to more curious minds. Thank you sincerely for being part of this journey. Your support transforms fascination into shared experience.